So the number one thing that I told the copywriters is that you got to have hunger, right? But as a marketer, we know we have to have hunger. And I have the book Outliers here, the Malcolm Gladwell book. Anybody ever read it? You know, one of the basic premises of that book is that you don't become a master at anything until you put in 10,000 hours. And I believe in that. I mean, whether it's 10,000 or 9,000 or 11,000 or 10 years, but a cumulative 10,000 hours over 10 years, you've got to put in the time to be great at anything. And so I really believe that hard work pays off. So the quote is, and you'll see up here, whatever of my 6 legends, that's Gary Halbert. And Gary Halbert said, I have suggested that you do 1 hour's worth of road work every morning right after you get up for 6 days a week. You know, basically what Gary is saying that, you know, understand, and I'm going to talk much more about audience and lists, which I'm totally passionate about. There's nothing more important than lists. I'll make that statement now, even though I'm talking about copy. Your list is way more important than your copy, and I'll prove it to you. But I think we all need a mentor to tell us stuff like this. We all need somebody to tell us you're not working hard enough. You know the old story of Henry Kissinger when he was Secretary of State, and he had somebody writing a speech for him, and the kid, I'll botch the story a little bit. David Deutsch tells it better. So the speechwriter comes in, and Henry Kissinger gets the speech, and he goes, "It's not good enough, go back and try again." Kid goes back, tries again. Henry Kissinger says, "Not good enough, go back, try again." That goes 8 times. On the 9th time, the kid comes back, you know, "Dr. Kissinger, this is the best I can do. I can't do any better. You can't send me back to keep rewriting this." And Henry Kissinger said, "Okay, I'll read it now." So with copy, ask any copywriter, you know, they are writing and rewriting, and you know, and David Deutsch is a good example, a good buddy of mine, great copywriter. I mean, what a pain to work with. He suffered, you know, the pain on every single word. And of course, his copy is always late, which any great copywriter you've worked with, that I've worked with, has always been late. That's not one of the 7 things. So anyway, copy is not written. If anyone tells you you write copy, sneer at them. Copy is not written, copy is assembled. You do not write copy, you assemble it. You're working with a series of building blocks, you're putting the building blocks together, and then you're putting them in certain structures. You are building a little city of desire for your person to come and live in. This is the essence of copywriting at a whole nother level. And this is how Gene did my health books at Boardroom. I don't know if you know my history, but sold a lot of books through my business, Boardroom, millions of books, as many as 3 million in 1 year. And a lot of them were health books. And like if I handed Gene Schwartz a health book, a 600-page book, and said, "Write me a package for this," he would look at it and figure out what's not in the book that he'd want to put in the book. Not only could he write great copy for what we already gave him, but he said, "You know, you had this article on diabetes and you didn't get deep enough. Let's go to your editors and find out if we could get a study on X." This is what great copywriters do. It's like they want to write about the things that aren't there yet. I always say, what's on the cutting room floor? What are the things that you rejected that you thought you couldn't back up? And take that extra step, because the copywriter could write the most brilliant copy for that particular item. This is copywriting, advanced copywriting, even though it sounds so simple. And assembling copy as opposed to writing copy is just an amazing, amazing concept. So I'll give you a more recent example. We have a newsletter. We had a newsletter with a guru in the natural health space, and Paris Lampropoulos, world-class copywriter today, spoke at the Titans event with David Deutsch. Paris said to me, "This newsletter is like really boring. I can't write great copy out of it." So then Paris says, "I want to go talk to the guru, to the doctor that the newsletter was based on." Spent hours with him, questioning him, getting stuff out of him, just like you get stuff out of the entrepreneur, you get it out of the guru. He was saying, "Hey, the editors at the company aren't publishing this stuff because I don't have studies." And the stuff that they didn't have studies on was some of the most interesting stuff that Paris wanted to write about. So what did Paris do? He said, "Go to the editors, He went to the editors and made me go to the editors and say, go dig deeper so I can write about this most exciting stuff, because that's the stuff that's going to make people vibrate when I get it out there in the marketplace. So having a copywriter that really understands, I'll talk about this shortly, about understanding your audience, understanding what their desires are, what their wants, what their needs are, what's the conversation going on in their head. If you don't know that, you're missing out on the best potential copy, and you need copywriters working with your editors, your staff, or you as the entrepreneur to make sure that you pull all of that out. Gary Halbert says, get yourself a collection of good ads and DM pieces and read them aloud and copy them in your own handwriting. Do you know that so many of the great copywriters who are teaching younger copywriters, they make them write there's something, Dan Sullivan, a strategic coach, says there's a connection in your brain to your thumb and index finger. Like, I never will come to a conference. I'm either, I'll throw a couple of things into my phone if I want to make a note, but I'm writing in my journal as AJ was talking, because I think writing as opposed to typing on a computer for notes is just a better connection to your brain. There's a guy that had bought Breakthrough Advertising in the old edition, and because he had followed Halbert on this was not copying over a promotion, but I sold him the book, and then, I don't know, a month later in my mailbox, physical mail, I open it up, big envelope, and there's like, I don't know, 20, 30 handwritten pages on legal paper. And he basically, what he did was, this guy, I guess to impress me, but whatever, he actually copied chapters 1 to 3. I said in my note, chapters 1 to 3 in Breakthrough Advertising it's a game changer for any copywriter, any marketer, anybody. Reading and rereading chapters 1 to 3, mandatory for anybody in direct marketing, in my opinion. And he actually hand wrote chapters 1 to 3 on legal paper and sent it to me, a copy of it, just to say, Brian, I did what you told me to do. He's now my attorney. No, I'm just kidding. The greatest mistake, this is Gene Schwartz. This is a mug you can get. It says Eugene Schwartz is my homeboy. It's actually, you can buy it on Cafe Press. The other side says David Ogilvy has my back. Every morning, I try to have my coffee in my David Ogilvy, Gene Schwartz mug for inspiration. The greatest mistake marketers make is trying to create demand, and this is the copywriter's task, not to create mass desire, but to channel it and direct it. And I think that's why you'll see in a minute why lists are actually more important than copy. And Gene knew that one of the best copywriters who ever lived knew that it was the audience first, not the copy. And I'll give you a couple of examples of that. It's not that the 20, I'll talk about the 40-40-20 rule. I'm not going to get open loop. Now you got to stay for the rest of the presentation. Gary Halbert said, I don't exactly know what I'm going to do, what I'm going to write about today. So what I'm going to do is just keep putting words down on paper until I start to get some direction. This is something that, that's why you put in 10,000 hours to be a great writer. And even as an entrepreneur, that if you're going to get help from a copywriter, you should be writing every single day. And I think the great AJ's presentation was terrific about just put something out there every day. I love when you said, when I did the video, it was like, big deep breath. I put something out there into the world. That's what this is about a little bit. And you can turn all that writing into blogs. You can send it. You can send drafts to people. You can send outtakes to people, right? I mean, I think Mike was talking about, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think what Gene talked about in this context is, if you ever read or read any of Gene's stuff about his methodology of what he calls the 33-33, is that he would write for 33 minutes, 33 seconds with an egg timer, and then he would go off and he would get up and clear his head and then come back 33 minutes, 33 seconds. It's a really good technique for writing.